Welcome to the U.S. Critical News Channel. Ukraine said Iranian missiles had arrived in Russia. After this situation, Ukrainian Air Force launched an operation to hunt Iranian missiles. Ukraine has officially announced that the missiles will be destroyed on the spot. Spokesperson of Ukrainian Air Force made statements about the course of the war. The spokesperson announced that Ukraine has launched an operation to hit Iranian missiles at launch sites in Russia. Ballistic missiles were officially delivered to Russian army. The missiles are also estimated to have a range of 300 to 700 kilometers. Before Iranian missiles in question, Russian army was using Iskander missiles of their own production. However, because of the war, Russia began to be unable to produce enough missiles. Russian military companies could not afford both the chips and raw materials of ballistic missiles. Kremlin officially began to buy weapons for insufficient equipment. Russian army has been having trouble finding ammunition and weapons lately. Iran started to give great support to meet the needs of Kremlin. 6 rockets hit the administration building in Russian-controlled city of Donetsk. Local officials claimed that the rockets were fired by a HIMARS rocket launcher. Local officials stated that Ukraine is targeting the railway building in Donetsk city center, so it will be difficult to use logistics lines. Russian army continues to have great problems in Donetsk region. Russian press stated that the most terrible situation for its soldiers will soon happen. In the event that the armed forces of Ukraine controls the right bank of Dnieper, it will control a large part of Kherson region. If Ukrainian army controls the right bank of Kherson and the Dnieper, Russian army will have suffered a great defeat. Armed forces of Ukraine begin operations for control of almost the rest of the Kherson region and the Zaporizhzhia region. If Ukrainian armed forces take over the entire region, Russian army will launch a massive offensive. In the Kherson and Zaporizhzhia regions, on the right bank of the Dnieper, Russian army could use massive bombardment and even weapons of mass destruction. Explaining this situation, Russian experts also explained that this is the worst scenario. Russian military officials announced that the situation in the region is also bad. The Russian press stated that Russian troops have started to work not only to protect Kherson, but also to ensure the dominance of the region. However, there is something quite interesting. The most elite units of the Russian army are withdrawing from the region. Ukrainian army, which closely followed this situation, accelerated its advance in the region. Ukrainian army is conducting a very detailed operation to gain control of the Kherson region. It was also revealed by these events that the Russian press did not have the slightest idea about the army. Russian experts think it is still advancing in the region. However, Kiev government has now started to regain the lost lands. On the other hand, explosions occurred in the port of Sevastopol. As the sirens started to sound in the port area, some large objects were seen in the sky. Unmanned aerial vehicles in the port area attacked to hit the military warehouses. Russian air defense systems fired at unmanned aerial vehicles. Russian official in the region announced that the drones assigned to hit unidentified military targets were shot down. After this air attack, a large number of Russian warplanes took off. Russian military aviation began to hunt for drones over the region. In addition, Russian planes in Donetsk airspace targeted Ukrainian infrastructures. Ukrainian defense systems responded to Russian aircraft. Russian officials also stated that Russian warplanes have been used a lot recently. For the first time since last month, so many warplanes began to carry out attacks in the sky. Russian Air Force is preparing for a big attack. However, Ukrainian defense systems do not allow the region to pass. Warplanes could not pass beyond the combat zone. The news that the world was waiting for came from President of Ukraine Zelensky. Leader of Ukraine made flash statements about the negotiations. While Ukraine was attacking to reclaim its lands, a claim that fell like a bomb came to the agenda from the United States press. It is alleged that United States is putting pressure on Ukraine to negotiate with Russia. While the echoes of this news continued, the expected statement from the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, came. Zelensky, who did not comment on the subject, signed a flash negotiation statement. Negotiations may take place in the near future. In addition, another very interesting incident occurred. The world's largest aircraft, Miria, was a victim of Russia-Ukraine war. Work done in secret place revealed. It was claimed that Antonov 225, named Miria, which was the target of bombs at the very beginning of the war, was rebuilt in a secret place. The completed aircraft will then be exhibited at an airport in Germany. On the 9th day of the war, the hangar of the Antonov 225 Miria, known as the world's largest aircraft, was hit. The dream plane, which was displayed at Gostomel Airport in the northwest of Kiev, was shattered. A remarkable claim was made in the German newspaper Bild about Antonov, which has the distinction of being the world's largest aircraft. Claiming that the pots were secretly taken to Germany, the newspaper stated that the legendary plane will be reconstructed at the country's Leipzig airport. However, pots of the aircraft will not be produced in Leipzig. The aircraft will be presented last in Leipzig, and its pots will be assembled here. Its total cost is thought to be 500 million euros. Also, according to Bild, the new An-225 is 30% finished. Pots of the aircraft continue to be produced in a secret place for security reasons. It is also claimed by the newspaper that the pots produced here will be added to the nearly half-completed aircraft. At the moment, the completion date of Dream is unknown. However, officials underline that the sooner the war ends, the sooner it will be completed. British intelligence announced that Russia has deployed barriers known as dragon teeth to strengthen the defense line in areas it controls. According to the British intelligence report on the ongoing war, Russia is strengthening the defense lines of the regions it controls. It was also stated in the report that Russia has started to produce pyramid-shaped concrete anti-tank barriers, also known as dragon teeth. According to the report, Russia has started to build defense structures, especially around the city of Mariupol. It was recorded that dragon teeth were sent to Zaporizhia and Kherson for the preparation of defensive fortifications. The report stated that Russia is making significant efforts to prepare a defensive line behind the current front line, possibly in preparation for possible offensives by Ukraine. The dragon tooth is a reinforced concrete structure that was first used during the Second World War and was placed to make it difficult for tanks to pass. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky proposed to the parliament the extension of martial law and mobilization in the country. The bill was presented to the council for discussion. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky asked the parliament to extend the martial law and mobilization in Ukraine, which will expire on November 21st. Due to Turkey's closure of the straits to Russian warships, Russian Navy ships that have been waiting in the Mediterranean for months have embarked on a long journey. The warships will now return to Russia, following a long route through Pacific. British press wrote that Turkey's ban was a major blow to Russian leader Putin, as a result of Turkey's refusal to allow Russian warships to pass through the straits due to the Ukraine war. Warships of the Russian army set out. It is not known exactly when the warships on a long journey will arrive in Russia. Experts state that the warships may run out of fuel until they return to their home bases. It is not known exactly what warships can do if their fuel runs out. In this case alone, Russia lost millions of dollars. We'll see what happens in the coming days. We have come to the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video, by subscribing. You can easily follow new videos. I wish you all happy days. See you.